My fellow Americans.
Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
A man holds in his mortal hand the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
He says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that.
I can't wait till those smart glasses become more of a thing and people just are walking around in their own world.
Yeah.
That's gonna be cool. Everybody's just like looking at me and I don't realize that they're like looking at me through an anime lens.
It's a lot less pressure.
It's a lot less pressure. Why? Because everybody's just gonna like look different.
It's just, everyone's just gonna not really care about each other to that degree.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no worry. Everybody's just minding their own business. No one's getting upset at anybody because we're all living in our own little world, like, as you said.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what? I think it's time we lay down some more hard truths like this.
I don't know if hard truths is a good thing right this.
I think things usually come naturally to us, and I think this is what's naturally coming right now. It's all like, that's really what I want to say.
Yeah, but given the current climate.
Dude, people are talking about this UFO video. The drone hits it, and it like bounces off of it like a balloon. It's like, it's literally a balloon.
It's literally a balloon. I don't know, dude.
And dude, that thing's not moving at high velocity. That thing's not moving at all. It's over the ocean, and the ocean's moving below it.
I like where you're going with it, but I don't know if I'm in like a hard truths like kind of vibe right now.
Ah, come on, man.
I know.
It'd be so good right now. There's actually a lot, because we haven't done it in a while.
I want to do it, but you know, I was thinking even about it today or yesterday. I think it was.
We don't have to talk about certain things.
I know, but I just feel like I want to come prepared. Last couple times I kind of came half prepared.
Dude,
and
can we give it a shot and you don't have to do anything with it? We could just, you don't even have to post it.
I don't know. I kind of wanted to do some other stuff.
All right.
I mean, if you want to try for it, we can try for it, but I want you to go first. You know what I'd love to do is an episode about Dulce.
Let's do it.
I was doing a lot of like
we should totally do a hard truths Dulce talk.
Yeah, but that could be like 5 minutes long.
What?
What are we just gonna do? Like the entire Dulce thing, but say the opposite of what happened?
You gotta have more. It's not just say the opposite.
I know it's not. I know it's not just that, but it's one of those things where I feel like it's good for like different topics. You know what I'm saying? Like we bounce around to different topics. All of them. Like you were talking though about how you want to do like an alien thing. I feel like that'd be cool.
You're gonna tell me the shit I threw out there just now wasn't good?
No, I mean it was good. I just really can't like I don't have my head into hard truths right now. I'm being like totally real with you. And I do want to be. Like I wanna like actually get into it. Dulce. All right, let's see. I want to just get like a complete overview of Dulce Base. The alien agenda, myth, underground bases, and extraterrestrial presence. This might be it right here. It talks about a lot of stuff, actually. What if Dulce Base was El Dorado?
What? Like, that's where they put it?
They just put it on top of El Dorado.
Who found El Dorado then?
Did anybody find El Dorado?
That's what I'm saying.
That's actually a pretty good question.
No one found that. It doesn't exist where it hasn't been found.
Well, what I'm saying is maybe that's what I'm saying though is maybe it was found and they.
Colorado, then didn't they have to find it first?
What I'm saying is like maybe they found it in secret.
Okay, so who do you think found it? In secret?
The Freemasons.
Freemasons.
Just like the movie National Treasure.
A man of letters.
A man of letters. Let's see if we can find anything about El Dorado. I mean, we did talk about the lost city of Z and that Percy Fawcett guy. I don't know. I think El Dorado could be in one of these secret bases. El Dorado tacos. El Dorado is a mythical city of gold supposedly located somewhere in South America. The king of this city was said to be so rich that he would cover himself from head to foot in gold dust, either daily or on certain ceremonial occasions before diving into a sacred lake to wash it off. The legend was first recorded in the 16th century by Spanish colonists in the Americas. They referred to the king as El Dorado, the Golden One, a name which eventually came to be applied to the city itself. The legend is inspired by the culture of Muisca, an indigenous people who inhabited a plateau in the Andean Mountains range in present-day Colombia. Each time a new leader of Zipa was crowned, his body was covered in gold dust and offerings were transported along to the depths of the lake, invoking the goddess who inhabited Lake Guatavita. This ritual is known as the Muisca? How do I say that? Muisca Golden Ceremony. The Muisca were skilled goldsmiths. They made frequent use of golden objects in their religious ceremonies and were also manufactured ornaments and jewelry for trade with the neighboring tribes. Early European settlers searching for the source of gold they found among the lowland peoples made several attempts to reach the plateau. The first to succeed was Gonzalo Jimenez de Quesada. His name was actually de Quesada. In 1537, de Quesada and his men conquered the territory of the Muisca in the name of Spain and looted large quantities of gold from their palaces and temples. Nobody's found it.
Yeah.
Rumors of gold. Venezuela. Maybe that's what we're trying to do with Venezuela, is we're trying to get El Dorado. Maybe that's why, we're trying to invade Venezuela. There's a hard truth for you. We're trying to invade Venezuela to go after the El Dorado gold.
What do we want the gold for?
Dude, we need gold. Gold is everything.
Well, didn't we give it all up?
We just made the entire White House filled with gold. We need more gold. We need every state capitol building to be gold interior and trim.
Yeah. Well, it would look nice.
It wouldn't tarnish, so that's cool.
I'll tell you what, the next president is going to be really glad that it looks so nice now.
That is true. Let's see. The Alien Agenda, Myth, Underground Bases, and the Extraterrestrial Presence. Deep in north-central New Mexico is the sleepy little town of Dulce. Dulce is located on the Archuleta Mesa on the Colorado-New Mexico border. It is home to about 3,000 residents and is the capital of Jicarilla Apache Nation. For as small and insignificant as this remote location may sound, it became the center of controversy in the early 80s. Physicist and inventor Paul Benowitz claimed he had discovered an underground base occupied by extraterrestrials near Dulce. So I guess what he was doing, from what I understand, is he picked up radio waves or something like that while he was over there, and he thought that he was observing UFOs. And when he picked up the radio waves on a weird signal, he heard what sounded like an alien language or something like that. And he was able to trace everything to these 3 spots in the mountain, in the mountain range. And he ended up, tracking other signals that he found out were actually random people that I guess supposedly the aliens were tracking with chips or something in them. These certain people within the town were setting off radio signals that he ended up tracking, which is just crazy. But yeah. His story quickly spread through the UFO community. Allegations that surround the base include human abductions, alien abductions by these extraterrestrial beings, and he also asserted the extraterrestrial beings were engaging in the development of advanced technology, including genetic manipulation. So, another story, supposedly, I guess there was a cop that was driving outside of, Dulce base, and apparently this cop stumbled across, a mutilated cattle, and he decided to check it out and report it or whatever, and he found this weird animal poking out of it that was, he said, a cross between a human and alien, and I forgot if it was a dog or a cow or something, but he said that like this thing was just like I guess like a dead fetus, just like in there. It's
What?
crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy shit. So I guess he like reported this, and I guess Paul Benowitz ended up feeling a little vindicated because like a lot of this cop story who like reported these things, like the UFOs and shit that he was seeing too. I forgot to say that is when he saw the cow that day, he also saw like a UFO that he thought was unrelated because apparently they saw like a lot of strange craft around the area in general. But I guess Paul Benowitz was like slightly vindicated about everything. But he asserted that the extraterrestrials were engaging in the development of advanced technology, including genetic manipulation. Their plan, according to conspiracy theorists, is to control the government and gain ultimate control of Earth by means of a new world order. Stories have emerged regarding an untoward alliance between humans and the inhabitants of the Dulce base, which include ties to shadow governments via secret societies such as the Illuminati, the Masons, the Bilderberg Group, and the Skull and Bones. I guess there was also like he ended up finding out about this other guy named Thomas Crowell, if I'm not mistaken, or Thomas Cromwell or something like that. And this guy claimed to be like an engineer or something on Dulce base, like an electrical engineer. And he said that he like actually worked alongside like aliens and shit. And he said that there was two types of there were four types of aliens that were at the base, or like things that were alien to human. He said that there were two types of grays and that there were two types of reptilians. He said that there were I forget if it was oh, what the hell was it? He said that they were like Zeta Reticuli grays and then I guess tall grays. And he said that the reptilians were one was what do you call it? One was Earth, like actually from Earth, and he said that the other one was from Alpha Draconis. And I guess they were all working together at this base or whatever, but it would make sense if the reptilians were working with them, with the grays or whatever. But I don't know. Weird shit. I forget what more after this, but I guess like you know a little bit about this, right? Like he like ends up like he ends up getting into contact with this guy Paul Benowitz ends up getting into contact with this guy Richard Doty, who ends up being like a major disinformation agent. Yeah, he's probably like one of the worst like people in like the UFO community like ever.
Yeah.
Cuz he like pretty much like took Paul Benowitz and like spun him a whole bunch of yarn, and I guess he was paid by the government to do it. So, shit's crazy. He was like a legit disinformation agent. A trained liar. A limited hangout, if you will. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. Richard Doty. Richard L. Doty, a professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania. Is this the same guy? Why don't they have any like information anywhere about Richard Doty? Richard Doty, Paul Benowitz. All right, here we go. During the 1970s, Benowitz became a member of Arizona's Aerial Phenomena Research Organization, a civilian UFO investigation group. By the mid-70s, cattle mutilations had become associated with UFOs. On April 20th, 1979, U.S. Attorney R.E. Thompson and U.S. Senator Harrison Schmitt held a public meeting about cattle mutilations. The meeting was attended by about 80. One attendee was Paul Benowitz. The 2013 documentary Mirage Men includes the suggestion that the government agents likely first identified Benowitz at this meeting, or outright targeted him for his participation. At the meeting, Benowitz was introduced to Highway Patrol Officer Gabe Valdez, who was investigating the incidents. That was the one I was talking about who saw the cattle mutilation, so maybe it was all bullshit. Benowitz later listed July 1979 as the beginning of a personally funded study into UFOs. That sounds sad. You know, for this guy, if he was being, like, duped. Benowitz reportedly began filming strange lights and recording unusual radio signals over Kirtland Air Force Base. On May 6, 1980, state police in Chimera, New Mexico, received a report from a woman calling herself Myrna Hansen, not to be confused with the movie star of the same name, describing a story involving interplanetary visitors, bright lights, and herds of cattle. Police in Chimera referred to the case to their colleague in Dulce, Gabe Valdez, who they knew to be cattle mutilation guy for his interest in the cases. Valdez in turn contacted Paul Benowitz. On May 7, 1980, Hansen and her son traveled to Albuquerque to meet with Benowitz. Staying in his home, Hansen explained to Benowitz that on May 5, 1980, while she was driving with her son near Eagle Nest, New Mexico, they had witnessed two large silent objects approximately the size of Goodyear blimps hovering over a meadow. APRO director James Lorenzen suggested contacting Leo Sprinkle, a psychologist and tenured professor at the University of Wyoming who had been investigating UFO contact reports. Benowitz arranged for Sprinkle to fly to Albuquerque to hypnotize Hansen. When Sprinkle arrived, Hansen and Benowitz insisted the sessions be conducted in Benowitz's Lincoln town car, parked inside the family garage with the car's windows covered with thick aluminum foil. During her first regression, she reported a recollection of a cow being sucked into a hovering spaceship by a tractor beam. Oh shit. On May 11th and 12th, 1980, under hypnosis, Hansen reported recollections of an abduction and of being taken to an underground base with body parts floating in vats. Hansen's recollections would later evolve into the legend of the Dulce base. During the sessions, she exclaimed, "Where's Roswell, New Mexico?" Although most members of the public had not yet connected the town to UFO folklore. That's an interesting detail. Hansen reported recalling having been given an implant by the aliens. On June 3rd, Sprinkle returned to visit Benowitz. He found Benowitz armed with a pistol and rifle, concerned that he was vulnerable to attacks from aliens. Benowitz expressed a desire to protect himself, his family, and Hansen. Benowitz then turned to hypnotist James Harder, abduction researcher and professor of engineering. Harder had conducted a hypnotic regression of Travis Walton in 1975. We talked about Travis Walton, that was the fire in the sky guy. The two believed Hansen was under the influence of alien beams and wrote detailed instructions on how to use aluminum foil to shield a room from the beams before conducting a regression. Gabriel Valdez's son later commented on the Myrna Hansen story as follows. It is a possibility that the Myrna Hansen story was also part of the disinformation campaign. I will go out on a limb here and say that the story of Myrna Hansen was probably a well-orchestrated hoax because of a very important fact. The listening devices found in my dad's house. The government heard all of the conversations on the phone between my dad and Benowitz, so such a hoax would be relatively easy to accomplish. Myrna Hansen came into the picture in May of 1980, and the Air Force did not even acknowledge contact with Paul until November of 1980. Although this evidence can barely be viewed as even circumstantial, it would explain a lot of things on how and why they transpired during the 80s based on what we currently know. Yeah, maybe. Relationship with U.S. government. On October 24, 1980, Benowitz contacted Kirtland Air Force Base to report his findings. On November 10, 1980, Benowitz briefed people at Kirtland. In a December 2, 1981 letter to U.S. Senator Pete Dominici, Benowitz explained that sometime late 79 or first of 80, an argument ensued over weapons and the military abandoned Dulce base. The final circumstance of the men unknown, wrote Benowitz. To date, as noted, I have not heard from you and therefore will assume that all your new duties that you are very busy and you just not had the time. The facts I gave Captain Harris are simple and straightforward as follows. 1, I knew the location of the alien bases in northern New Mexico in the center of the Jicarilla Apache Reservation. Or is it Jicarilla? Jicarilla Apache Reservation, 4.5 miles northwest of Dulce, New Mexico. 2, I know that someone in the military made a deal with the aliens several years ago, giving the Indian land, cattle, etc., an apparent assurance of safety to the alien in trade for technology in the form of an atomic-powered ship, at the same time establishing an extensive U.S. base alongside to test the ship. So, the thing that he's talking about there is, we talked about this before. Supposedly Eisenhower met with a couple of aliens. He met with I think it was a tall gray and a Nordic alien supposedly, and he I guess they were supposed to be these guys that were coming from the Galactic Federation or something like that. I guess we made a deal, or Eisenhower made a deal with the aliens that they could abduct people and cattle for a while to do like their own like genetic experiments or something on us or whatever they want to do. And in return, what we basically get out of it, or what the government got out of it, was technology, like apparently like an atomic powered ship, which honestly an atomic powered ship doesn't seem that remarkable. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem like that crazy of technology for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, would it be faster?
I don't know. Like, shouldn't we have asked for like a 0-point energy ship, or we just didn't realize it at the time that was a thing? I don't know. Maybe this is all part of the disinformation, though. Maybe the atomic ship is to throw Paul Benowitz.
It's just like the most people knew about at the time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe that was part of the disinformation, to say that an advanced ship would be something that would be atomic powered, instead of saying that there's a 0-point energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or hydrogen powered.
Yeah. Like saying that it's atomic powered is basically like saying like, ooh, it's new age. I don't know. It seems like that was part of the disinformation. But it wasn't disinformation to discredit him. It seems like it was more of disinformation to discredit 0-point energy, and to make it look more like atomic energy was the only thing that we had. Like, to conspiracy like people that were like looking into this, if they probably like looked into this, they were like, wow, atomic ships. So if this is true, that means that atomic ships are the best things that we can get. And then they probably started spreading that around, saying that like, oh, atomic, we need atomic energy, let's do atomic energy, and that way we can have these atomic ships in the sky. Meanwhile, the government's like, yeah, we want to do atomic energy, but we also want to do is keep our 0-point energy to ourselves. I don't know. I guess that's just a theory. It says 3, that sometime in late 79 or 1st of 80, an argument ensued over weapons in the military abandoned, and the final circumstance of the men is unknown. So yeah, apparently like the base was abandoned, and all these like aliens were just using an abandoned military base as their setup. That's pretty crazy, honestly. That's kind of like that's kind of metal-ish. Or is that the right word?
They're like hermit crabs.
They're like hermit crabs. They're just crawling to the next dumb military base that gets abandoned.
They just scurry in like that one alien from Futurama.
You know what this makes me wonder? How many abandoned military bases are there? If they can just like, if the military can just be like, all right, we're just gonna call it on this underground base, and we're just gonna take off and leave it to the aliens, or not even care about what happens. Like, how many of those are out there? Like, are there just a whole bunch of like these?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like how many of these random bases are just out there underground that the government just was like, we don't feel like dealing with this anymore, so we're gonna move on to a better one, and they just left it.
Did they do that, or were they kicked out by aliens?
I don't know. I guess I guess it could have been they were kicked out by aliens because this suggests that there was a war. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, that makes sense. So it was really them just retreating. But then at the same time, like, if they retreated, like, how does that make sense? Because, like, if the humans and aliens were at war for like a brief second, why didn't it continue? Why did like nobody blow anybody's cover, or like, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think we're at war.
Well, I'm just going based on this logic from what this guy was like getting for information.
There's
I'm
there's a
trying to.
lot of different government agencies that we don't know about, and different like task forces that probably like butt heads in the field, and they're like, "Ah, you're about to blow it." Like, you know, they have like undercover narcotics agents and things like that. But think about it
Yeah.
on like a grander scale. They're like, "Oh, you blew it! Like our aliens over here are gonna do this now." And they're like, "Oh, you no, you blew it. My mission was this." I'm like, they're all it, it. It's hard to say. Like they could all just be. It's a mess, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? Like at the highest levels,
Yeah.
like you could have two different people essentially on the same side, on the opposite sides, and you'll see like how sometimes they actually will kill each other. You know,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like,
like there could be aliens that work with humans that are like, oh no, those other humans saw us, so we're gonna have to kill them. And those
yeah.
humans are like, ah, fuck, all right, get rid of them.
Like to bring it back to like the government example you gave earlier, like another example is when the CIA is like doing shit in South America, running like coke and all that shit, and then the DEA captures these random CIA guys, and they have to do an investigation into their own guys, basically.
Yeah,
I guess they have to figure out what to do at that point, like let them go, or
that often happens.
yeah, that that often happens. Yeah, pretty much. We got to do an Iran Contra scandal episode one of these days. That would be great.
I know nothing about it. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there. I'm fascinated by this whole story, but basically back in the 70s and 80s, mostly like the 80s, there was a group of people over in Afghanistan, and they were called the Mujahideen. What the CIA wanted to do was they wanted to supply them with weapons in order to overthrow or to throw out like the Soviets that were invading Afghanistan at the time. Like that was part of it. Like they were coming in and they were invading with like helicopters and shit like that. So they ended up arming these guys with rockets and shit, or they wanted to. But what ended up happening is Congress wouldn't let them. Obviously, maybe we should do a hard truth on that. Stupid Congress wouldn't let them sell guns to these random guys in the Middle East. What ended up happening is they went down to South America and they started buying coke from these groups of people in South America, and then they ended up taking the coke and I guess like selling it and then taking the money because they weren't able to like get the funding to do this, so they ended up taking the money from selling the coke and buying guns from these like rebel groups and shit, and then arming the Mujahideen over in the Middle East with all these like rockets and guns and shit. And then this group, the Mujahideen, a lot of their leaders ended up becoming Al Qaeda or Al Qaeda, however you say it. OBL apparently was in the Mujahideen before he started his whole group, but it was more than just that. There were a lot of people involved in that ended up like doing shit with that, and that's what happened. I think that's what Congress was afraid of was all that shit. But anyways, back to Dulce Base. Says number 4 that I had a very high resolution official NASA U2CIR color infrared photos in addition to low level and ground photos showing the base in total detail. And 5, the ship design traded for is over 30 years behind the alien technology. So he had a ship design. That's cool. I advised Captain Harris I knew of the 2 women and child near Austin, Texas, who were severely exposed to radiation at close distance from the ship and in trouble, and that it was seen to come west with helicopters, unmarked, and that the government was quietly paying their hospital expenses. I'm also very concerned that the president has not been totally advised of the situation and have forwarded a copy to him. Cover letter enclosed for your record. It is hoped you will value this valuable input and in time get in touch with me. Signed, Paul Benowitz. It doesn't say that, but, yeah. In 1984, Benowitz again referred to a 1979 conflict that led to the closure of the alien-human base. The Dulce War would later be espoused by conspiracy theorists like John Lear and Bill Cooper and Phil Schneider. Increasing publicity, Benowitz later began contacting UFO researchers. On April 8, 1983, Benowitz was discussed in a UPI wire story about his supposed 1980 filming of UFOs over the Manzano weapons storage facility. He also reported being in communication with aliens via his computer. In 1984, Benowitz's relationship with the government was detailed in the UFO conspiracy book Clear Intent, the government cover-up of the UFO experience. The story spread rapidly within the UFO community, and by 1987, ufologist John Lear claimed he had independent confirmations of the base's existence. In 1986, George Clinton Andrews discussed Dulce base legends in his book Extraterrestrials Among Us. In 1988, tabloid Weekly World News published a story entitled The UFO Base Found in New Mexico, which claimed that diabolical invaders from another solar system have set up a secret underground base in the rugged mountains of northern New Mexico so they can Shanghai human guinea pigs for bizarre genetic experiments. The Weekly World News story used supposed quotes from ufologist Leonard Stringfield as a source for its claims. Upon learning of the story, Stringfield protested, "I'd never read such a distortion of facts in my life." That's a pretty cool statement, I guess. In 1988, Paul Benowitz wrote a paper titled Project Beta detailing how the base might be successfully attacked. Beliefs. Benowitz claimed the existence of a plot involving an extensive network of UFO bases tied to an alien colonization and control scheme to subjugate mankind. After he saw the hypnosis sessions of Myrna Hansen, who claimed to have UFO experiences, he became convinced that cattle mutilations were due to aliens. As a result, Benowitz claimed to have uncovered evidence of aliens controlling humans through electromagnetic devices, and furthermore claiming that UFOs were regularly flying near Kirtland Air Force Base and the nearby Manzano nuclear weapons storage facility and Coyote Canyon test area. Convinced that he was intercepting electronic communications originating from alien spacecraft located outside of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Benowitz soon believed that he had located a secret alien facility that he called Dulce Base. By August 1988, Benowitz was accusing his wife of being in control of the ETs. Wow. After attempting to barricade himself in his home using sandbags, his family admitted him to the mental health unit of Presbyterian Anna Kaisman Hospital. He remained under the observation there for 1 month. On October 14, 1988, the television broadcast UFO Cover-Up Live introduced the stories of Majestic 12 and Area 51 to the American public. On July 1st, 1989, William Moore claimed that he tried to push Paul Benowitz into a mental breakdown by feeding him false information about aliens. This... What? That's so evil. He claimed that he tried to push Paul Benowitz into a mental breakdown by feeding him false information about aliens. Whoa, that's fucked up. This was corroborated in a 1992 Monroe Institute article that can be found in the CIA library that claims Moore and another officer of the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, Richard Doty, are responsible for a disinformation campaign against Benowitz. In 1990, the Benowitz story was featured in Howard Bloom's book Out There, The Government's Secret Quest for Extraterrestrials. Bloom publicized that the government had sent undercover agents to befriend and mislead Benowitz using counterfeit documents. And that guy, William Moore, let's see, William Leonard Moore, an author and former UFO researcher and prominent from the late 70s to the late 80s, he co-authored 2 books with Charles Berlitz, including the Roswell incident. Interested in UFOs since he was a teenager, Moore attended Thiel College. Thiel College, like Peter Thiel. Connection?
Is there?
I don't know. That's a good question. Thiel College is a private college in Greenville, Pennsylvania. I don't know. I'm going to look it up. Is there any connection between Peter Thiel and Thiel College? No. Graduating in 1965, he taught language and humanities at various high schools. He became Arizona State Section Director of the Mutual UFO Network and left teaching to pursue a career as a freelance writer. Moore wrote the Philadelphia Experiment Project Invisibility with Charles Berlitz in 1979 about an alleged naval military experiment popularly known as the Philadelphia Experiment aboard the USS Eldridge in 1943. In 1980, Moore wrote The Roswell Incident with writing partner Berlitz, which alleged the Roswell UFO incident had involved the crash of an ET spaceship. What did they believe that it was before that? Like, what the hell? In May 1987, Moore, along with ufologists Jamie Shandera and Stanton Friedman, circulated the Majestic 12 documents that purported the existence of a high-level policy-making group overseeing UFOs and ETs. At a 1989 MUFON conference, Moore claimed that he had been engaged in disinformation activities against Paul Benowitz on behalf of the Air Force Office of Special Investigations. Interesting.
Very interesting.
So that means all of that shit that he wrote about Roswell could have been like bullshit.
Yep.
And it could have been like to like hide like the facts about Roswell.
Whole bunch of baloney.
Yeah. This guy that he had pass out the flyers, Stanton Friedman. In 1970, Friedman left full-time employment as a physicist to pursue the scientific investigation of UFOs. Since then, he gave lectures at more than 600 colleges and to more than 100 professional groups in 50 states, 10 provinces, and 19 countries outside the U.S. Additionally, he worked as a consultant on the topic. He published more than 80 UFO-related papers and appeared on many radio and television programs. He also provided written testimony at congressional hearings and appeared twice at the United Nations. This guy's got a lot of creds. Like, what the fuck? Friedman consistently favored use of the term flying saucer in his work, saying flying saucers are by definition UFOs. But very few unidentified flying objects are flying saucers. I'm interested in the latter, not the former. He used to refer to himself as the flying saucer physicist because of his degrees in nuclear physics and work on nuclear projects. Friedman was also the first civilian to document the site of the Roswell UFO incident and supported the hypothesis that it was a genuine crash of an ET spacecraft. In 1968, Friedman told a committee of the United States House of Representatives that the evidence suggests that the Earth is being visited by intelligently controlled extraterrestrial vehicles. Friedman also stated that he believed that UFO sightings were consistent with the magnetohydrodynamic propulsion. In 1996, after researching and fact-checking the Majestic 12 documents, I want to click that to the magnetohydrodynamic thing. Researching and fact-checking Majestic 12 documents, Friedman said there was no substantive grounds for dismissing their authenticity. In 2004, George Norrie's Coast to Coast radio show, Friedman debated Seth Shostak, the SETI Institute's senior astronomer. Like Friedman, Shostak also believes in the existence of intelligent life other than humans. However, unlike Friedman, he does not believe such life is now on Earth or is related to UFO sightings. Oh, what a bunch of baloney. Friedman hypothesized the UFOs may originate from relatively nearby sun-like stars. A piece of evidence that often cited with respect to this hypothesis is the 1964 star map drawn by an alleged alien abductee, Betty Hill, during a hypnosis session, which she said was shown to her during her abduction. Astronomer Marjorie Fish conducted a three-dimensional map of nearby sun-like stars and claimed a good match from the perspective of Zeta Reticuli, about 39 light-years distant. The fit of the Hill-Fish star maps was hotly debated in the December 1974 edition of Astronomy magazine, with Friedman and others defending the statistically visible validity of the match. Didn't they say, though, that the Betty and Barney Hill thing was bullshit? That it probably was like a movie or something like that they saw, and they were getting it mixed up in their dream?
Who was saying that?
I don't know. I thought I read that. Is it not true? Is Betty and Barney Hill all real?
I think that's real.
You think that's real? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right, that opens up a little bit. It is crazy that she knew a star map that had Zeta Reticuli on it. That's crazy. Magnetohydrodynamics in physics and engineering is a model of electrically conducting fluids that treats all interpenetrating particle species together as a single continuous medium. It is primarily concerned with the low-frequency, large-scale magnetic behavior in plasmas and liquid metals and has applications in multiple fields including space physics, geophysics, astrophysics, and engineering. Cool. So let's build a UFO. All right. Let's look up Bill Cooper. Milton William Cooper, or Milton Bill Cooper. So this guy was a little crazy. He was an American conspiracy theorist, radio broadcaster, and author known for his 1991 book, Behold a Pale Horse.
And he's my uncle.
He's kind of a wild dude. He's the anti-host uncle. He said that certain diseases were created in certain ways and meant to target people.
Well,
he might not be wrong.
Old Uncle Bill.
Oh, Uncle Bill. He has been described as a militia theoretician. Cooper was killed in 2001 by sheriff's deputies after he shot at them during an attempted arrest. So that's Bill Cooper for you.
What was he getting arrested for again?
Tax evasion, I'm pretty sure, but let's get into this.
Oh man, that's a conspiracy theorist nightmare.
Yeah, it is. Little is known about Cooper's background and education beyond the information applied in his own accounts. He claimed to have served in the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and Naval Intelligence until his discharge in 1975. However, public records only indicate a period of service in the Navy with a ratings code of E5 Sergeant, Petty Officer Second Class in the Navy.
Are you telling me he committed stolen valor?
That's what it's saying, yeah. Including a tour of duty in Vietnam with 2 service medals. That's actually pretty cool, though. At the end of the war, while working in naval intelligence, Cooper served on a briefing team for Admiral Bernard A. Clary. He then attended a junior college in California and worked for several technical and vocational schools before making his conspiracy theories known. Beginning in 1988, Cooper expanded the speculations of earlier conspiracies by incorporating government involvement with extraterrestrials as a central theme. In 1991, Cooper wrote and published Behold a Pale Horse. The book has been influential among UFO and militia circles. Prior to the trial of Terry Nichols in 1997, The Guardian described it as the manifesto of the militia movement. According to sociologist Paul Gilroy, Cooper claimed an elaborate conspiracy theory that encompasses the Kennedy assassination, the doings of the secret world government, the coming Ice Age, and a variety of other covert activities associated with the Illuminati's declaration of war upon the people of America. Political scientist Michael Barkun characterized it as among the most complex of super conspiracy theories, and also among the most influential due to its popularity in militia circles, as well as mainstream bookstores. Historian Nicholas Goodrick Clark described the book as a chaotic farrago of conspiracy myths interspersed with reprints of executive laws, official papers, reports, and other extraneous materials designed to show the looming prospect of a world government imposed on the American people against their wishes and in contempt of the Constitution. Sound like anything, people? UFOs, aliens, and the Illuminati. That's not happening. I just said that for no reason. UFOs, aliens, and Illuminati. Cooper gained attention in ufology circles in 1988 when he claimed to have seen secret documents while in the Navy describing governmental dealings with extraterrestrials, a topic on which expounded on in Behold a Pale Horse. By one account, he served as a low-level clerk in the Navy and as such would not have had the security clearance needed to access classified documents. In the summer of 1988, Cooper made his first public comments on the Paranet Bulletin Board system, an early UFO message board, claiming that in 1966 he was serving aboard the USS Turu when he and fellow Navy personnel witnessed a metal craft larger than a football field. Imagine how many government ops were on that forum back then in 1988. Yeah. It was probably literally like 80% government ops.
But at the same time, like, this sounds crazy. Like, people in the military are constantly seeing shit like this now and coming out about it, and they're just very normal people because they're not. There's a world where he could have come out about this, and like everybody was just interested, and they're like, "Wow, like that's crazy that you saw that. You're a decorated veteran, so of course we're gonna trust you." And he'd be like, "Yeah, exactly." And he would have acted normal, and he wouldn't have died of tax evasion.
Wouldn't have died of tax evasion. Well, all these people dying of tax evasion.
It's really great that Wesley Snipes recovered from his severe illness of tax evasion.
Yeah, he really recovered from that one. There's so many people that just don't make it through tax evasion. They end up suffering severely before the end. Cooper claimed he was instructed by superiors to never speak about the incident when he saw a metal craft larger than a football field repeatedly enter and exit the water. Biographer Mark Jacobson argues the Turu incident itself would not have done much to make Cooper's name in ufology. That opportunity came only a few days later when he was contacted by fellow Paranet poster John Lear. Lear, the son of Learjet founder Bill Lear, identified as a pilot who had flown missions for the CIA. Lear was the author of a post titled The UFO Cover-Up, which incorporated elements of mythos from Benowitz, a ufologist who was later revealed to have been fed disinformation by American counterintelligence agent Richard Doty. Cooper soon visited Lear and the two spent much time together from 88 to 90. Cooper's views were heavily influenced by Lear and his story of alien collusion with secret governmental forces. In 1989, the two released an indictment against the U.S. government for aiding and abetting concealing this alien nation which exists in our borders. In 2018, columnist Colin Dickey noted the pair's influence, writing in the early years, UFO writers did not by and large embrace strong political positions. They were the tip of a spear, asserting that the number one thing we had to fear was not little green men, but the government that colluded with them, appropriating their technology against us. Cooper and Lear's collaboration lasted for a few years, after which Cooper accused Lear of being a CIA plant. Ufologists later asserted that some of the material, and it would make sense if John Lear was a CIA plant, honestly. Ufologists later asserted that some of the material Cooper claimed to have seen in naval intelligence documents was actually plagiarized by Cooper from their own research, including several items that the ufologists had fabricated as pranks. Don Ecker of UFO magazine ran a series of exposés on Cooper in 1990. Cooper linked the Illuminati with his beliefs that the extraterrestrials were secretly involved with the United States government, but later retracted these claims. He accused President Dwight D. Eisenhower of negotiating a treaty with ETs in 1954, which supposedly allowed the aliens to abduct humans in exchange for technological assistance. Cooper then claimed that Eisenhower had established an inner circle of Illuminati to manage the relations with the aliens. That's the Majestic 12 he's talking about. With the aliens to keep their presence a secret from the general public. Cooper believed that the aliens manipulated and/or ruled the human race through various secret societies, religions, magic, witchcraft, and the occult, and that even the Illuminati were unknowingly being manipulated by them. Cooper described the Illuminati as a secret international organization controlled by the Bilderberg Group that conspired with the Knights of Columbus, the Masons, Skull and Bones, and other organizations. Its ultimate goal, he said, was the establishment of a new world order. According to Cooper, the Illuminati conspirators not only invented alien threats for their own gain, but actively conspired with ETs to take over the world. Cooper believed that James Forrestal's fatal fall from a window on the 16th floor of Bethesda Hospital was connected to the alleged secret committee of Majestic 12, and that the Jason Advisory Group scientists reported to an elite group of Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations executive committee members who are high-ranking members of the Illuminati. In Behold a Pale Horse, Cooper asserts that President JFK was assassinated because he was about to reveal the extraterrestrials were in the process of taking over the Earth. According to a top-secret video, Cooper claimed to have discovered the driver of the presidential limousine, William Greer, used a gas pressure device developed by aliens from the Trilateral Commission to shoot the president from the driver's seat. The Zapruder film shows Greer twice turning to look into the backseat of the car. Cooper theorized that Greer first turned to assess Kennedy's status after the external attack, then to fire the fatal shot. Conspiracy theories implicating Greer reportedly snowballed after publication of Behold a Pale Horse. Cooper's video purporting to prove this theory was analyzed by several television stations, according to one source, and was found to be a poor-quality fake using chunks of the Zapruder film. From 1992 until his death in November 2001, Cooper originated his radio show, The Hour of Time, from a studio in his house at the top of a hill in the small White Mountains town of Eagar, Arizona, 15 miles from the New Mexico border. Cooper sent his show via audio cassette, satellite patch, or direct telephone link to WWCR in Nashville, where it was broadcast by the station's 1,000-watt shortwave transmitter. Mark Podick, spokesman for the Southern Poverty Law Center, said Cooper was well known within the militia movement for his anti-government shortwave radio program. Oklahoma City Timothy McVeigh was reportedly a fan. McVeigh was reported by the Daily Beast to have ordered from Cooper a cassette, Waco, The Big Lie, which the radio host marketed. Cooper broadcasts conspiracy theories on the Waco siege in early '93, which he believed had been the opening battle in a new civil war. He later participated in early radio shows of Alex Jones, who was an admirer of his broadcasts. On June 28, 2001, commenting on a televised interview of Osama bin Laden at his hideout in Afghanistan, Cooper claimed that bin Laden would soon be blamed for a major attack on a large U.S. city. But don't you believe it, he said. Immediately after the attacks, he predicted the U.S. would soon be at war in 2 or maybe 3 countries. He began broadcasting the controlled demolition conspiracy on the day of the attacks, which eventually became a center of conspiracy theories relating to that subject. And his death. As Cooper moved away from the ufology community and toward militia and anti-government subculture in the late 90s, he became convinced that he was being personally targeted by President Bill Clinton in the Internal Revenue Service. I'm sure one of those things might be true. In July 1998, he was charged with tax evasion. An arrest warrant was issued, but Cooper eluded repeated attempts to serve it. In 2000, he was named a major fugitive by the United States Marshal Service. On November 5, 2001, Apache County Sheriff's deputies attempted to arrest Cooper at his Eagar, Arizona home on charges of aggravated assault with deadly weapon and endangerment stemming from disputes with local residents. After an exchange of gunfire, during which Cooper shot one of the deputies, Cooper was fatally shot. Federal authorities reported that Cooper had spent years evading execution of the 1998 arrest warrant, and according to a spokesman for the Marshal Service, he vowed that he would not be taken alive. So, there you have it.
They knew they had to kill him because he straight up told them.
He did tell him. Yeah, he is
He
one
pushed
of.
too hard.
Oh, I mean, yeah, obviously. I think his issue was getting into all that that militia shit. Like, he didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Then you're just scaring people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, what the fuck?
What the fuck, dude? Just tell me more about these aliens.